And welcome everyone to Black Twitch League Week 6, I believe we are. My name is RareAdam. I am solo casting today. Joined with me is no one. It is myself. So this one is going to be interesting. We've got Maria's Dungeon versus Dryads on the Rift today, as I'm realizing the overlay is slightly sloppy, but we'll get that sorted out in the next little bit. Regardless, yes, this is a solo cast. This is going to be nice and fun. I'll be interacting with Twitch chat a lot, so hopefully anyone in Twitch chat, if you have any sort of comments, I will read them out and we'll have some fun. So Twitch chat plus RareAdam today on BTL. But regardless, Maria's Dungeon coming into this one, looking for a series victory after going down in two very entertaining games against Glacial Mingos last week. Dryads, of course, I believe they had a bye last week, or I wasn't casting their games, whatever happened, but they're coming in here, so we've got ourselves a couple of our BTL mainstays on the Rift. So let's get this one going. You can see the bans coming through. Dryads, because they rescheduled this game to now, they lose one ban, but regardless, they still ban out the Yuumi and the Victor. On the flip side for Maria's Dungeon, it's going to be the Yone, Set, and Fiora bans, so really focusing down Yucca and Yanni in that mid and top lanes, respectively there. Whereas Maria's Dungeon going to first pick that Seraphine, and Seraphine risen a lot in priority recently. She's pretty strong right now. She matches up quite well into a lot of matchups as well, so not too surprised to see that come through. It is something that Maria's Dungeon likes to play as well, and with Maria playing support this time around, looks like that's what she wants to play, but going to be Blitzcrank picked up here on the flip side. One way to counter those Enchantresses in the bot lane is to pick something with a lot of hard engage. And what better in terms of hard engage than Blitzcrank? Ability to just pull someone in and really crowd control them down. Great single target CC, and couple of options here coming through. Pixel Wolf hovering over a couple of those. Caitlyn or Misfortune are going to be the answers. It's going to be Misfortune coming through. Champion that has seen a lot of play in pro play, as well as just overall across many of the leagues that I have casted, as well as over BTL. We've seen a lot of Misfortune come through. She's a very popular champion. We'll have to see what the answer is. A lot of times we see Jhin sometimes as the answer into Misfortune. Reeve, I believe, has played the Jhin into Misfortune, so it is something that they would be comfortable with, but today opting potentially for that Ezreal, it's going to be locked in, and that gives you that range advantage a little bit over the course of laning phase. You're able to stay safe and just farm it out. Regardless here, going to keep looking at what they want to pick up. Further down the list, Ornn hover right now for Hacksaw. Going to get locked in. We've seen Hacksaw play a lot of those tanks up in the top lane, and Ornn is definitely one that has been played by Hacksaw before. Very comfortable there on those tanks, and should be able to survive any sort of matchup. Yucca, though, does play some of those carry top laners, so Ornn might have a little bit of a tougher time in that regard. Silas, though, going to get hovered here. There's a couple of really good ultimates already picked up. The Ornhorn as well as that Seraphine ultimate going to be available for Silas if that is the option. It will get picked up, so this could go top or mid. A couple of options still up on the table. You get to steal an Ezreal ult as well, which has some pretty good AP ratios, so I don't think this is too bad of an option for the Silas pickup here for Dryads. Yanni or Yucca could pick that one up and really run with it. Regardless, we are into the second phase of bans here, waiting to see what Dryads want to potentially take away from Maria's Dungeon. Looks like they're already going to start focusing down that mid lane pool. The Vel'Koz is going to be taken off the table away from Sweetie Pie. They don't want to give that champion over. Vel'Koz, very long range, would complement the rest of their poke comp very well. So they want to take that off the table, but the Trundle going to be removed from Shifo or Yucca in that sense. Trundle can really put the hurt onto an Ornn, steal all of those stats. You can pillar and block up that second half of the Ornn ultimate, but the Xin Zhao now going to be taken off of the table for Expo as well. Very strong junglers still. It's a little bit of a controversial pick, I dare say, at the moment, because Jarvan has risen in priority, but Xin Zhao is a comfort pick for a lot of these junglers. They're just going to opt to avoid having that at all costs. And as we continue to move through the ban phase, we're waiting for one last ban from Maria's Dungeon. We'll have to see what they opt to go for here. It is going to be that Elise hover and ban away. They want to take that AP presence in the jungle away from Shifo. Elise did get buffed recently, so maybe it's a little bit of a pocket pick just coming to light once again. But it is not going to be available for the likes of Shifo 9. And we've seen Shifo have a lot of really good performances on some of these very aggressive junglers in the past for Dryads. So has Expo, though. Both of them participate a lot with their team. But the Anivia going to get locked in here. So that means that the Sylas is either going to the top lane or into the jungle. It sounds weird to say Sylas jungle, but it's still not bad overall. So we'll have to see where everyone ends up, but just still waiting to figure that out. The Kog'Maw, though, going to get locked in, and that could be an AP Kog'Maw mid. It is a champion that exists. It is a pick that is not awful, but it is definitely a very niche pick in its own right. Has some very set strengths in the sense that it is a great artillery mage, but the Kiana hover very briefly there for Expo. Gonna be the Graves locked in after all. But yeah, as it stands right now, we are still waiting for a jungler on the flip side. Still a couple of options up and available for Shifo. Looks like the Kindred is the hover for the time being. Quite strong right now. Can be played extremely well into some of these comps where you can kite them out. And Kindred's going to actually get locked in. So if you are scared of getting taken down by an Ezreal, you can just drop that Lamb's Respite and be able to stay alive. But we've got our comp set out for us. We've still got a couple things to maneuver around in terms of where these champions are going, but got a couple of spicy picks. That Sylas up in the top lane as the answer to Ornn is one of them. The Kog'Maw as an answer to the Anivia is another one, and very interesting to see where everything plays out. Regardless, we're going to just keep looking at draft as I look at Twitch chat. No one's in Twitch chat yet. Come on, talk to me, guys. I am lonely. Please help me. Regardless, we will get through this together, everyone. As the bans come through, and we'll find out where everyone is going. Let's go lane by lane really briefly here, though. As Ornn versus Sylas. Generally, Sylas doesn't mind having a melee versus melee matchup. Not something you really get often in that mid lane. Sylas does have enough healing in the kit to be able to survive those, but Ornn definitely not going to be the easiest nut to crack. Gets a lot of resistances early on, just based off of the passive, and you're, of course, able to buy in lane. Ornn can be incredibly difficult to take down later in the game, but Sylas from Yucca should have some priority in that early game. Especially when you take into account we've got two marksman junglers coming through. We've got the Graves versus the Kindred. Kindred very good at kiting away from champions, whereas Graves wants to sort of be in your face. Two different styles of marksman junglers. We'll most likely see potentially a Gale Force Youmuu's come out from Shifo if they want to go aggressive, or the Kraken Slayer to potentially punch through that Ornn. Couple of different builds you can go on Kindred, but Graves has 3-4 viable options. The Bloodthirster Immortal Shield Bow build is one of them. You can also go for a little bit more lethality with Eclipse. Gale Force is still a very strong option on the Graves as well. And of course there is some other builds you can go that are less common. But in the mid lane, Sweetie Pie's Kog'Maw versus Yonti's Anivia here. Both of these champions going to be great for wave clear in that later stage of the game. Both of them dealing an absurd amount of magic damage if you can place everything correctly. Of course, Anivia, a little bit more passive damage as she stacks it up with her Glacial Storm, whereas Kog'Maw with that living artillery can just drop nukes from the sky on top of you. And if you are Misfortune, who is going to be immobile at the back, if you are a Kindred who is trying to kite backwards and you have to deal with dodging around from Kog'Maw ultimates, it's going to be very difficult. Most likely going to see a Liandry's potentially picked up to get that burn damage. You're going to see a Tear picked up as well, because that ultimate stacks up really quickly, sort of like Kassadin in a way. It doesn't really stack up the damage as much, but really stacks up that mana cost. But in the bot lane, Misfortune Blitzcrank, very strong early game coming through from Pixel Wolf and Skylar Toon down there. They want to try and take advantage of the somewhat passive laning that can come through from Ezreal and Seraphine sometimes, but Seraphine, if you can land that root onto someone, Ezreal can get that WQ. They can really start to stack up the Conqueror if that's what they opt for. They can start to do some decent damage down there. So if Blitzcrank misses that hook, it's going to be pivotal that Reeve and Soul Lady move forward and look for engages. But regardless, that is all I have to say about this draft for now. We're going to take a quick break before we come back into it. The fun part about this is there's no need to wait when we sync up, because it is only me. So if I'm not able to catch up with my own client, something is wrong. Regardless, we're going to have Maria's Dungeon versus Dryads Game 1 on the Rift right after this break. Oh my goodness. We're on to the Rift and right into a pause. Who would have thought? This is a great start to the game already, but we will get into it as soon as we can. But yeah, on to the Rift with Maria's Dungeon versus Dryads Game 1. We are currently stuck in a pause, but everyone is popping in, popping out. We're going to figure out what's going on here. But for the time being, we are just sitting on a pause screen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to BTL. It is me, RareAdam. It is only me. Where's the game? The game is right here and paused. We're going to get on pause, and we're going to be on our way. Should be able to see exactly how this level 1 goes, but for the most part, it looks like it's going to be a 5-man invade from the side of Dryads as we got into the pause after the pause. Fun little spectator bug as the side of Maria's Dungeon tries to spread out and look for some plays. We're just going to keep watching as we try and figure out who is going where and where people are going in general to see if they can find themselves an early play. But by the looks of it, Dryad's going to start to look for a little bit of an invade. 5-man stack on the top side of the map as we trigger the vision here. Looks like they have no idea where that Orin is. They are spotted out. Hacksaw actually going to get spotted, flashing over that wall, and the hook not going to land as Hacksaw able to get out with his life. Are getting hunted, though. Expo and Sweetie Pie are around the area. Going to toss out the Doom Carpet. The Vomit Carpet? I don't know what to call that. The Kog'Maw E, regardless. Going to deal a little bit of poke. You can see the Arcane Comet coming through as well, so really going to be trying to deal as much damage as possible in this mid lane. Trying to get as much poke down, because that's the real idea behind AP Kog'Maw, but as it stands, just the flash burned off of Hacksaw for the time being. And it's going to be red buff start for Expo here. Getting a little bit of leash from Reeve and Salady. Up on the top side, though, it's going to be, or at least on the red side, it's going to be Kindred starting that blue buff. So Shifo trying to get that leash. Going to smite that down as well. So trying to expedite that process as quickly as possible. But on the bot side of the map, going to be Pixel Wolf. And Skylar Toon going to have a little bit of prio in this lane. Ezreal started the Longsword 3 Potions, which is a little bit more of a popular start we've seen recently. But Misfortune going to opt for that Dorn's Blade to try and get as much sustain, healing, and a little bit more health in the lane. Meanwhile, mid lane, Sweetie Pie hitting level 2, going to toss out a Carpet there. Doing a little bit of damage, but overall, just going to be rather chill for the time being. Skylar Toon going to be looking for a hook here. Going to land it onto Reeve. Going to get knocked up as well. We will flash. He will heal as well. Will be able to out-heal that Ignite, but Reeve going to be taken down very low. Pixel Wolf could be looking for a little bit of a play, but level 2 comes across, and they should be able to stay safe and sound. Skylar Toon just waiting for that second hook as Reeve chugs on a couple of potions. It was forced to burn both summoners there, but should be chilling for the time being. So we take a look towards where the junglers are pathing. Little bit of an advantage here for Expo, but it's going to be Shifo who's moving forward first here. Going to try and look towards that top side of the map. Kog'Maw looking for a ward, but Kindred's already gone. Hacksaw doesn't have any flashes. Yucca going to look for the Abscond Abduct moving forward. That's going to actually wait it out, but actually great. The Searing Charge coming through from Hacksaw, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Shifo needs to jump one more time. Yucca going to get it with the explosion from the Chain Lash, and that's first blood going over to the side of Dryads. Expo is up on this top side, going to try and surprise Shifo here. Going to get a little bit of damage, forces the flash out of the Kindred as the teleport going to come through from Hacksaw as well. Expo is on the hunt, but Shifo going to try and run out of there. Going to flash forward, get one auto attack. Yucca's not able to block it up and actually might be going down for the price there. Red buff is ticking, 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 but it won't be enough as that's going to be Expo replying with a kill of their own on the top side. Going to be taking away not only Kindred's chance at getting the mark on Graves, but also on that Crab. We're going to be in a little bit of a tough situation. On the bot side, though, it is Reeve and Solady who are going to be forced to back off earlier here. They have that CS advantage for the time being. The wave is pushed in. Misfortune going to try and freeze that maybe under her tower and hopefully wait for the mark to show up on that bot scuttle crowd, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Shifo just going to take that to be sure. Meanwhile, Expo just going to keep farming away. This is what Graves wants to do, sort of get that level 6 mark, look for those ganks, and as we said, going to be a little bit more aggressive than the Kindred. We saw Kindred able to make a play on the top side of the map, but unfortunately did go down for that price as well. Going to be trying to find that mark onto Graves at some point or another. We got to keep an eye on how many marks this Kindred can get and how quickly she can get them, because before she gets that 4 mark, I guess, she's going to be sitting at 500 range, which isn't great into the Graves. But up on the top side, Yucca going to go in for a heavy engage onto Hacksaw, takes him down to about half HP. And meanwhile, bot side, Skylar just going to flash over that wall, looking for an aggressive play. Going to try and find that hook, going to land it on to Maria. She's going to be taken down, and Shifo picks up a kill. Don't know if they got the mark on that one. Gonna double check that actually really quickly. Did not have the mark, so unfortunately, no extra stacks there. But Expo gonna be down here on this bot side. Skylar looking for the hook, but forced to back away as there's just a little bit too much poke damage coming through from Graves and Ezreal and unable to find the hook. But it is going to be the bot lane and Shifo looking for this early dragon. Kindred gonna try and start to stack up that objective, get the neutral advantage as quickly as possible. Reeve and Expo are in the area and they know that they have the summoner advantage, or maybe they don't actually. Just the heal gonna be coming up. Expo gonna try and move in to get that away, but it's gonna be Shifo picking it up with the later smite. So Lady gonna flash forward, trying to try and land some more damage onto Pixel Wolf, but Pixel Wolf forced to heal and get out of there. Forced to flash as well, taken down under 50 HP, but will be able to survive until Reeve snipes them over the wall. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Yonti going to be taken into the egg, and Sweetie Pie is going to eat that one up. It's scrambled eggs for the Kog'Maw in that mid lane. Going to pick up the extra kill at the end of that one. Actually, 2 for 0 after Soul Lady was able to respawn, and Maria came all the way back down to get a couple assists. That's going to be a nice lead for Maria's dungeon, at least for the time being. Up about 500 gold. And if we look at where that gold is sitting, it is gold lead on the Kog'Maw in that mid lane, who is currently up about 600 gold. Really good for this Kog'Maw to start to stack up and get going. As you can see, the Sork shoots coming through as well as the tier. As well on the bot side, we're going to see Misfortune looking for that lethality build. Has a little bit of a damage advantage over the over the Ezreal right now, but Ezreal going to get a nice back off here. Going to pick up that Sheen as well, so damage going to start coming through as Yucca looks for a little bit of a play under tower, but Hacksaw going to go aggressive here. Gets the Brittle proc, has the Ornhorn up and available, but does not opt to use it quite yet. Both top laners going to hold their sums for now and their ultimates. But once again, we are stuck in a situation where up on the top side is going to be Hacksaw just trying to survive this laning phase. And we've seen this time and time again come through from Hacksaw, able to play these sort of weak side top laners to great effect and end up doing quite well. Sort of similar to what we see out of... I can't remember their name now. Man, I completely lose my mind every week. But the Maokai player on one of the other teams, I think on Dino Club, consistently plays on that weak side of the map and is consistently able to find solo kills or even find a way to get impact in a game. But for the time being, it's going to be Expo hitting level 6 first, going for a lethality build this time around. Most likely the Yomu's Ghostblade first item. Meanwhile, Kindred building that Noon Quiver. Going to be looking to try and get maybe a Kraken Slayer or a Gale Force. It is yet to be determined yet what this Kindred is going for. But level 6, believe she has her first mark of the game. Nothing else quite yet, but we've got to keep an eye on how the Lamb and the Wolf are able to hunt their prey. In the bot lane, first one to level 6 is going to be Pixel Wolf. Going to have that bullet time up and available. Have to see exactly where they fall, though, because it can be somewhat challenging from time to time to really find the right engage, especially on an Ezreal Seraphine. You don't want to overcommit, especially when you only have crowd control onto one member. But Expo on this bot side of the map going to start to hunt for a little bit of a player. Reeve and Soul Lady still level 5. Actually, Ezreal going to hit level 6 in that play as Skylar Toon Still level 4, so still struggling a little bit for that experience. Won't have the static field up and available for any sort of engage to potentially dissuade or burst someone down in conjunction with Pixel Wolf's ultimate, but still waiting on level 6 from the Seraphine from Maria, so she's going to try and get that as quickly as possible, especially since Expo spending a lot of time in this bot side of the map, really only picked up the Krugs in the meantime, but with Maria clearing out that ward, Expo might look for the dive play. Level 6 coming through on the Seraphine. They have the potential to use that Encore to potentially find a kill onto Pixel Wolf or Skylar Toon. Once again, no level 6 coming through, but the hook is going to miss, and instead it's just going to be Expo moving into the enemy jungle, as Shifo has been able to pick up a significant experience lead now, getting up to level 7, so has a little bit more pressure, but it still remains that the side of Maria's Dungeon have the gold lead of about 700 gold as Kindred looks for a reset. Of note, Kindred actually picked up that Rift Herald as well, so we'll get a guaranteed couple of plates there as long as they use the Herald. 4 minutes, of course, after it's picked up is your time window, and Kindred should be able to place that down and hopefully get the charge off. Can end up being quite useful to get them back in this game a little bit, but Yonti in a little bit of trouble. Gonna put that wall as well as the stun down, but taken down to about... taken down to Egg, actually, just coming back up in time, but Yucca gonna be trying to move in, flashing forward as Expo forced to flash out of there as well, but no ultimate to come through, no stealing that away from the Graves. It will burn the flash as well as the teleport off of Silas, whereas Expo only forced to burn the flash and the ultimate to get out of there. Is ending up being a rather advantageous play for the side of Maria's Dungeon, as they don't really lose much CS, whereas Yucca burns both summoners and is forced to take the long walk back to top lane, where Hacksaw is building up a rather large wave. Yucca might be looking for an engage, though. Hacksaw does have the bombies already complete, so we're going to try and zone this out. But in the meantime, right around this dragon, it's going to be, once again, Dryads picking that one up nice and easily. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Yucca has stolen away the Ornhorn. Want to see if they can make a play with it. There are some ways that Silas can make use of that a lot better. But we'll have to keep our eye on what happens. But Skylar has moved up to this top side, still level 5. Gonna try and find the hook. Gonna land actually onto Sweetie Pie. That's a Kog'Maw who's forced to flash away, but here comes the Ornhorn from the Ornn. Gonna get a Limb's Respite from Shifo at the end of that, but here comes Yucca on the re-engage with the Ornhorn of their own. Gonna get a Brittle Proc, but Sweetie Pie's gonna pick up the first kill of that fight. It's 2 for 2 thus far, and Expo, great wall coming through from Yonti as Skylar gets level 6 just in time to pick up that last kill. It is a 3 for 2 in favor of Dryads. They're able to pick up the extra kill, but unfortunately they're still lacking a little bit of gold on their side. They did lose a plate and almost a second one in that bot side. Yeah, for the meantime, we're going to have to see where this gold lead is going to sit after plates go down. That's really where I'm always curious to see what happens. Got to keep an eye on exactly who gets those gold leads and when they get them, because, of course, champions have those different spikes, whereas Reeve, oh my goodness, the hook goes a little bit wide. Pixel Wolf tries to land it down, but an exhaust coming out just at the right time. Both sums forced out of Reeve as well, and man, that was way closer than it should have been. It was a little bit of a tight play, but up on the top side, Yucca still looking to try and punish this Ornn. 0, 2, and 2 for Hacksaw, but still surviving the lane quite well, all things considered. Still waiting for some more action to come through on the map. And actually, Herald's going to be used in that mid lane right before plates go down. So it is going to be a little bit of a gold swing going back in favor of Shifo and Yonti specifically, two members who really like to get that gold building up over time. Yucca going to clear the control ward, but as it stands right now, at 14 minutes, we are dead even in gold. A little bit of a neutral advantage over to the side of Dryads with those 2 early dragons that were picked up, but other than that, it is going to be even across the map. We're even going to try and get a little bit of poke down onto Pixel Wolf and try and push in this wave. Of note, it is a Divine Sunder coming through on the Ezreal, so going to be trying to cut through some of those bigger health bars. Sylas can build up a decent amount of health. Blitzcrank will get tanky eventually, and as well, Anivia able to build a couple of health items herself, but under this tower is going to be Skylar going aggressive on to the Seraphine, but a 2-man charm going to come through. Expo going to try and burst them out. Pixel Wolf taken down very low, and it's Reeve picking up a couple of kills. Really well played from this Ezreal, able to dip and dive right into that middle and able to pick up a couple of kills, and that's going to put the gold lead back into Maria's Dungeon favor as they look to push down this tier 1. Plates are gone, but this should be first tower for the side of Maria's Dungeon. Going to be going into the right members as well. That bot lane and the Graves getting the advantage as Hacksaw still taking heavy trades against Yucca, but somehow has the gold lead and built Mythic first here. That's already the Sunfire Aegis complete onto Hacksaw, who will just be vibing for the time being. If I go quiet for a little bit, it's mostly because I'm trying to rest my voice and I don't want to burn it out. I am casting the series at 9. I believe I have a co-caster for that one, so would be a little bit better than solo casting. Of course, I don't mind solo casting, but can be a little bit lonely sometimes. If anyone does want to join me, I am more than happy to have someone pop in the booth with me. It gives me a little bit of company, but regardless, as it stands right now, the most company that I'm getting right now is from the fact that Dryads not going to be contesting this 3rd dragon. They lost that bottom tower, no cryo on the map, so they will be forced to back away from this dragon. Looks like it's going to be the side of Maria's Dungeon, at least, picking that one up and preventing Soul from going down for the side of Dryads for at least another 5 minutes here. As Kindred did go for the Kraken Slayer, so going to be trying to cut through the health bars of the Ornn, or of the Ornn specifically, a little bit easier than we would expect. Doing a good chunk of true damage overall to the rest of the team, and Ezreal actually, with that Divine Sunder, does end up getting rather beefy as well, especially if we see the Frozen Heart come through. But up on the top side of the map, Yucca going heavy aggressive on to Hacksaw once again. Second Rift Child going to get popped by Shifo. Skylar's actually going to be around the corner as well. Expo going to get knocked up as Shifo looking for a little bit more. Going to pick up that kill, but it is Maria who is here once again. Going to be the Spirit's Refuge, but oh my goodness, Hacksaw going to be getting out. It's not Spirit's Refuge, it's Lamb's Respite. It's actually the Kog'Maw coming through, picking up 1 kill, picking up 2 kills. Both time going to come down, going to take down the Seraphine, and Shifo flashing forward to look more aggressively. Will be able to pick it up. No, they won't, as it is a triple kill. Pixel Wolf flashes forward and not able to get that one. It's Wolf who cleans that one up, as now Pixel Wolf in trouble as Reeve is around the corner, but Yonti is here as well. Forces the flash out of Reeve. Big shutdown on this head. 3-0-1 on this Ezreal. Yonti moving forward aggressively. Once again, the wall going to be incredible. And the Ignite plus the Frostbite will be able to pick up that Ezreal. So kills going back and forth. And I dare say we could not have expected this, but it's dead even once again at 18 minutes. We are going blow for blow in this series thus far between Dryads and Maria's Dungeon. But yes, as it stands right now, we are sitting at a dead even gold 18.5 minutes into this one. These teams have been going blow for blow. If we look at where the gold is lying, a lot of that is actually on Sweetie Pie, who is the richest member in the game. Actually, no, Kindred's the richest member in the game. Been able to pick up a lot of tower damage with those 2 Rift Heralds. Actually has the most farm in the game. Actually, down by 2 as Reeve picks up a couple of CS. On the top side, Yucca gonna go aggressive here. That tower is very low as Skylar is around the corner as well. Hacksaw getting pushed under that tower, and this is the problem with Ornn into this matchup. Gonna be weak side for most of that game, not really dishing a whole lot of damage out. Skylar gonna be coming through, gonna try and pick up that tower. As the Ornn Horn comes down, Yucca unable to steal that one away, and Hacksaw gonna get pulled back. No way to get the second half as Yucca picks up a kill on the top side, and unfortunately for Hacksaw, left out to dry once again on this Ornn. And that's going to push the gold a little bit more in favor of Dryads. They were able to pick up those first 2 dragons. They've gotten 2 great Herald charges off from Shifo, but in the mid lane now, Reeve and Solady going under this tower, looking aggressive. Expo is here as well. Will be running away, tanking up a little bit too much damage as Shifo still has that Lamb's Respite to keep them alive. Yucca now has teleported in as well, taking a big chunk of damage. Gonna get rooted up actually as Maria dealing a decent chunk here, but Skylar going to go for that Hex Flash. Pulls back Maria, great pull. Yucca gonna steal away the Seraphine ultimate as well, but it is replied to with the normal Seraphine. Look at all this damage coming through. The Lamb's Respite forced to come through as well, keeping everyone alive, but there are health bars ticking down lower. There is no Kog'Maw in this fight, but a great play from Maria. It's just not enough. The Lamb's Respite keeps everyone alive, but Hacksaw is here once again. Yonti going to be taken down into the egg as, oh my goodness, the damage coming up from Sweetie Pie. No one is touching this Kog'Maw yet. Kog'Maw trying to find the kills on the back end of this. The living artillery dropping down from the sky, but just not enough range yet. It is 6-2-1 on this Kog'Maw, though, who did go for the Ludens, so going very aggressive in terms of the build. Kog'Maw picking up another couple of kills there, and that's not the best case scenario. This Kog'Maw going to be very difficult to kill, especially when you've got the front line of the Ornn as well as all the crowd control coming through from the Seraphine. On the back end, you're going to have to find a way to dive right on top of Kog'Maw and shut him down. Oh my goodness, look at the aggressive play that they're going into the jungle here. There is Dragon up and available. It's gonna try, Dryads are gonna try and get Soul Point here. And actually the True Shot Barrage gonna take down Skylar to double-digit HP. Able to limp away from that one as Yucca also takes a decent chunk of damage. But that's gonna be enough to force Dryads away from this dragon. And Maria's Dungeon gonna pick that one up. They are still down about 1,300 gold, but they are keeping themselves in the race and getting tankier. Ornn with Mountain Soul is incredibly difficult to kill. With those extra resistances, Hacksaw's going to be a menace when it comes to late game, as well as upgrading those items. Shifa, though, getting another mark for themselves, and if we check on the mark count, it is 3, so not 4 quite yet. They will be looking to pick up that 4th mark. It is currently on Maria on that Seraphine, so we're going to try and get that range upgrade as quickly as possible, but 23 minutes in, a little bit late to be picking up that 4th mark. But yeah, looking at the status of the game right now, still Dryads with a little bit of a gold lead. 23 minutes into this one. Baron is now a possibility for an objective on the map, but in about 3.5 minutes, we're going to get Soul Point for both of these teams up and available. Reeve going to get caught out just a little bit. Going to be able to jump over that wall with the Arcane Shift. As right now, 2 items on the Ezreal. Has died a couple of times since the last time we checked in on the Ezreal score. But when you've got 2, I dare say 3 long-range damage threats on the sides side of Maria's Dungeon. They're just able to continuously pump out that damage. You have the Seraphine, who's able to crowd control people from screens away. You've got Kog'Maw, who's able to drop down all of those nukes from the sky, as well as Ezreal poking down from a distance. But Skylar really going to try and shut someone down here. But look at the damage that Kog'Maw's taking. Force the flash away from that last living artillery. But here comes the root coming down. Slow onto Yonthi, going to push it back. But the pull onto the Graves, but Ornhorn in the back line. It's a massive team fight win for the side of Maria's Dungeon. It is Kog'Maw picking up a double kill there. A Sweetie Pie cleans that one up, and all of a sudden the gold lead goes right back the other way. It is going to be Maria's Dungeon with the gold lead and pressure in that mid lane. They're going to be able to push down a tier 2. Expo barely stayed alive through all of that, but with all of the damage able to come through, you see how much range they have with all of those ultimates on top of each other. They're just able to burst someone down from 80% effectively to nothing. But it will be the Baron started up by the side of Maria's Dungeon. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much of a contest. Only Skylar and Yucca are up on the map. No Shifo for another 2 seconds, and no way for them to even get over there relatively in time. So it will be a relatively quick Baron pick up for the side of Maria's Dungeon. They've got themselves a 3,000 gold lead, and it's a lot more pressure on the map. We'll have to keep our eye on Sweetie Pie, though. Level 15, once you get to level 16 on that Kog'Maw, not only is your ultimate on a 1-second cooldown, but you get it at an extra range, so you can just start popping it from 2 screens away. You won't even be in vision. It gives you vision of the enemy, so you can use it to face check bushes. And with Ornn hitting level 14, gonna upgrade that Eye of Luden for the Kog'Maw here. Gonna be popping out even more damage, getting even more magic penetration, and looking to really crush down the spirits and dreams of Dryads here with the caustic whatever he throws out. He vomits, basically, right? So kind of gross, but it's painful. I can assure you that, oh my goodness, as we get a pause, I can assure you that Kog'Maw auto attacks, they don't look like they hurt, but they definitely just burn the crap out of you. And yes, we're going to get the pause after the pause once again, as the pause is done. Apparently, Reeve's internet is not having a good time today. But Reeve has had quite a good game. 3-2-5 on this Ezreal. Looking over at the gold difference between these two teams. Kog'Maw, richest member, followed closely by Shifo. But look at Reeve. Coming up there in 4th place, actually, in the gold after Graves. But I've really been doing a good job of playing this Ezreal to a T as we finally get on paused here and get back out here onto the map. But with that Baron buff, they're going to be looking to push down even more than what they have. They've only got 3 turrets, though, but a 4,000 gold lead and consistently growing for the side of Maria's Dungeon. Actually, Yonthi going to be taking a big chunk of damage, going to be taken down to Egg as well. No way to really stop that, except if you have a Lamb's Respite. Going to keep Yonthi alive for just long enough, but now Skylartoon is the one who might be caught out here. Getting rooted up as well, but here comes the charm pulled under. The team is going to be Maria. She's going to get taken down by that bullet time, but here comes... Oh my goodness, it's actually Maria to pick that one up on the back, and here comes the Ornhorn as well. Yonthi going to be able to dodge away from that, but Expo, oh my goodness, not able to pick up Yonthi. Reeve moving forward with that flash aggressively as they pick up the tier 3 and looking for an inhibitor. They're going to continue to try and push down the base of Dryads. And I dare say, this game has been very Maria Dungeon-esque, but at the same time, it has not taken nearly as long as their other games. We've seen 40-minute bangers come out from them, but they just seem to be cleaning up Dryads relatively easily. 5,000 gold lead, and they're in the base, but Reeve picking up a double kill as Yonthi has healed up, but won't be enough. That's going to be an ace in the base for the side of Maria's Dungeon, and they should be able to clean this one up unless Pixel Wolf has anything to say about it. That's going to be 1 auto, 1 kill for the Misfortune here. Clip Shield is active, but Pixel will force to back off. Has those double buffs, but it doesn't look like the side of Maria's Dungeon are going to stop. Skylar going to get the pull onto Expo, going to try and find the damage. Ignite is taken down, but Immortal Shield Bow going to keep that alive for the time being. Sweetie Pie still autoing down the Nexus, and it will be a 27-minute win for the side of Maria's Dungeon. Uncharacteristically short game from them, but very characteristically chaotic. And that's going to be game 1 going to Maria's Dungeon. And what a game coming out from both of these teams. Dryads really had an early advantage built up for them, but it just wasn't enough to really get the job done. And at the end of the day, Maria's Dungeon just so comfortable in their own comp that they were able to pick that one up. But at the end of that one, we're going to head to a short break with Maria's Dungeon, looking to pick up a quick 2-0 in the rescheduled match. We'll see if Dryads can make this series a little bit more interesting. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this short break, and after I fix the overlay because I had the scores swapped, but we will be right back.